Hello, you guys. Welcome to Dog Hugs. Hello, Geraldine.
Hi, Daryl. Hi, Spider.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. This is what a day, right? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to y'all. Yes. So we're going to talk about names today. Come here, buddy. Come here, Spider. That's your name. What's that?
Spider is going to talk. Blame him.
I'm going to get Spider started on his busy box here.
But I have to say, even with all the barking, he's doing so great. I think he's just used to being a part of the conversation. And honestly, at Dog Hugs, we are welcoming that. But in your own home, I don't think we're going to welcome that much barking. But here, we're going to still slow him down. But we're going to welcome some of it because we appreciate his input on everything we're doing.
That is so true.
It's a fact.
So William Shakespeare wrote in the play Romeo and Juliet, "A rose by any other name would smell as sweet." Names are powerful.
Very.
What we name things, what we call each other is powerful for good, for bad.
Yeah, right.
That's true. Your name is pronounced in many different ways, and it smells just as sweet.
But it's true. I mean, that label is powerful, and how we attach to it is powerful, right?
Yeah, it really is. And we're told, maybe I was told as a little kid, if I'm called a bad name, say sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me.
I was taught that, and bounces off of me and sticks back to you.
That's nice.
I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and
sticks back to you. That's
because
good.
Your awareness of it is what makes it so, correct? Mm-hmm. And most people don't have that awareness till they either witness it terribly in a tragedy, or they have it in themselves, and one day they become aware of it.
Yeah. So
this is really powerful for people right now to pause and be aware of what they do that might be driving people nutty, or themselves nutty, or their pets nutty. But also, once again, what are we doing in the world of society right now that we're now aware of that might be offensive or demeaning or uplifting?
Yes. Yeah. On this show, of course, we always want to uplift and promote that kind of uplift in the world. I am wearing the logo of my college, the University of California at Berkeley, the Golden Bear. And Berkeley was started in 1868. Now, California was founded in 1850. So just 18 years later, the university was founded, and they adopted adopted a logo from the state flag as their mascot, the bear. Here's the California state flag. That's the grizzly bear looking that way. And notice on the shirt, my bear is going the other way. What you got there, Geraldine?
So when I lived in California, I wore this sweatshirt almost every day because it said California love.
Nice.
And I love love. Dogs are all about love. They focus from their heart, not their brain. And this always reminded me, when you're in California, focus on love. I mean, you do anyway. So avoid the haters and go towards the lovers, because I'm a lover, not a hater.
That is a really good point. So today we have a really special guest that I filmed earlier this week with my good friend David Elfin, who is a sports writer in Washington, D.C. And we have here a discussion that I think you'll enjoy about the power of names and the Washington, D.C. football team that is in the process of undergoing a name change right now. In advance, I'll say that we no longer say that team's name, the Washington football team's name, because it's now considered the R word. So let's go ahead and play that. And if you folks have some comments, we'd love to see them on the chat, and we'll pick you up on the flip side. But this is, I think you'll really enjoy this interview with David Elfin.
Please share your comments. We really welcome your comments.
Here we go.
David, it is so great to see you, man.
How you doing, Larry?
Well, good here in Los Angeles. It's a nice, warm, dry heat. As
We've
we
been having dry heat ourselves. We have 17 straight days of 90. We've had very little rain.
tell us about your pup there.
This is Gina.
Hey, Gina.
Gina is a soon-to-be 5-year-old English Springer, and I lost both my rescue spaniels, Scout and Sparky, last year. Sparky at age 16 in December.
I remember Sparky quite.
Ready to look for another dog because I wanted to kind of get through the winter and grieve him a little bit. Coronavirus hit, and it was very difficult to get a particular breed if you wanted, at least on this part of the country. I'm gratified that so many people went and got dogs, which is great for the shelters and for the dogs. And there's a rescue group in Northern Virginia that focuses on cockers, and they basically, nothing worked. They either didn't have them or they wouldn't be good with another dog. It was all complicated. So I cast a wider net, and there's a group down near Richmond, Virginia, in a town called Goochland. Oddly, right now I'm reading a biography of Chief Justice Marshall, who was the great jurist of the early 19th century. He's from Goochland. But
No way.
yeah, but in any event, Gina was there. She was advertised as 60 pounds, and when I went to meet her Mother's Day weekend, she weighed 78.6.
Oh my goodness.
Which is twice the size, more than twice the size of Sparky, and even bigger. Scout was even smaller than that.
Gosh, how did that happen that she?
Well, she was originally a puppy mill breeder, and she had thyroid, so they didn't let her breed.
Yeah.
And family eventually adopted her, and apparently she bonded with the college-age daughter. And the college-age daughter went back to school last fall. She, from what I was told, ignored the adults in the household, so they got mad and sent her back to the rescue, and that's where she went last September. And in the intervening 7 months, she gained 18 pounds because there was food out all night at the rescue for HUGS.
They free fed her.
Yeah, and not only is it bad for her health, but I envisioned what I had to do with Sparky and Scout the last few months and years of their lives, which was carrying them up and down my stairs. And I don't think now, let alone hopefully 10 years from now when Gina's 14, I'll be carrying a 78-pound dog. So we are on a weight loss diet and thyroid medicine.
Yeah.
For long walks every morning before it gets really hot. And she was gone from sometimes having to lie down multiple times and stop multiple times for water. Whereas this morning she had water, but she didn't have water when we left. So she had water about halfway down in the direction, and maybe one little sip after that. Didn't want to stop. So she basically walked almost 2 miles without stopping. And as of last Friday on her bi-weekly check-in, she had lost 12 pounds.
Wow.
To be fair, I have to say that about 4 or 5 pounds came from the groomer, because the previous weigh-in, they told me she had lost 6.5 pounds since the previous time, and it's usually been a pound and a half or 2. I cannot believe she lost that much because she'd been groomed.
Yeah.
So in any event, she's down to 66.
So from her hair, she lost an
4
additional
to 5 pounds.
4 to 5 pounds of
The
hair.
goal is to bring her down another, I don't know, close to 15 pounds, which I hope we do by Halloween, and then we'll be maintenance going forward.
Yeah, I love that you're doing this so methodically and just not intending to suddenly, have her have a dramatic weight loss. This sounds like the right way to go, David.
And I'm not sneaking is the wrong word. I told them I'm giving her, belly turkey in her food, not just kibble. I'm used to my old dogs, and they always had wet and turkey. And they don't tell me not to give her any wet food, but I'm not going to just have her eat kibble. She's not going to want to do that. And I have to have some fun in there.
Well, it sounds like it's really working.
It's working. I wish it worked out well for me, but what the heck?
Good on you. Yeah. Well, one of the things that you and I have enjoyed over the years is sports, and so many times over the years, I know I've turned to you whenever there's been a sports triumph or loss. And for the day, I'm wearing, I don't know if you can see this, David, but I'm wearing my All-Star game from when the All-Star game came to Giants Stadium in San Francisco back in
Giants Stadium.
You're right. You're right.
Or is it Bell Park, whatever they have to call it now?
Yeah, it's a corporate name now. Oh gosh, why am I blanking? Yeah,
I just know it's McCovey Cove, right?
That's the great late Willie McCovey. Yeah.
And for anybody who wants to know, yes, Larry is a runner, so to speak, because he is a Giants fan in the heart of Southern California.
It's true. I grew up a Dodgers fan, hating the Giants. And then, I went away to school in the Bay Area, went to Berkeley. Then I moved back east, and you and I met in Syracuse, where we went to grad school together. And then I moved to New York for a short while. I became a fair weather Mets fan, and then moved back to the Bay Area. And then a good friend of mine, the late great Steve Lester, started taking me to Giants games, and I had a really good time, and that bonded us, and I became a Giants fan. Well, when he passed away, I kept the Giants with me. It's a memory of my good friend Steve. Here I am back in Los Angeles as a Giants fan. I tried coming back to the Dodgers, and we're fans not because of logic, but because of heart.
The great part about it is, despite the Dodgers' arrogance, winning, the Giants have won 3 World Series in the last 10 years, and the Dodgers have not won since 1980.
Yeah, well, that's true. The Dodgers have not won, although you might have something to say because they were in the World Series against the Astros, which, your Washington Nationals were also in the World Series.
Bottom line is, no one cares about who finished second. Yeah. I don't think they're going, oh, it's great. We were in the World Series 2 years ago and lost to the cheaters. I don't think they're looking at that.
That doesn't work that way, huh?
No.
So, big issue that's coming up now is the Washington Redskins.
Can you say that word anymore?
That's a good point. I'm really glad you said it that way. The way it's, as they're now changing their name, there's a campaign to refer to what I just said improperly as the R word.
Oh, well, here it's known as the Washington football team, which the Portland Oregonians have been referring to them that way for years. I understand where everybody's coming from on this thing. I'm an old school person. I'm as much of a traditionalist as anybody, but it's obviously something you would never name a team today.
Yes.
So that's one way to look at it. I wrote a column roughly the same time I wrote that Hall of Fame column saying that Redskins owner Dan Snyder was an idiot for somebody who's supposed to be a marketing genius because he changed the name, would help alleviate his horrible publicity, which is deserved, and he would make a lot of money selling newly named team merchandise, and then the old stuff would be retro. He could make money off that. Instead, he put his feet down until, because of George Floyd, because of Black Lives Matter, because of all the protests, companies led by FedEx, which is his stadium sponsor, said, we're not going to, stick with you past this year. In fact, Nike stopped selling Redskins merchandise on its website right now. And that's what finally did the difference. That and does want to move team back to a stadium in the city after his lease expires in 2026. And there's no way the DC government would let him come in with that name. And the federal government, assuming this current administration is gone by 2027, 26, whatever it's going to be, that they weren't going to let it happen either, and it's on federal land. So yes, it's been a huge controversy for many years. My first Super Bowl was in Minneapolis in January 92, and there were Native American protesters that far back complaining about the name. Oddly, though, Washington Post took a reputable poll 4 years ago, and most respondents was a Native American poll. Most people didn't care if the name changed because there's so many bigger problems on Indian reservations than what the football team in BC is named. But it is the right thing to do.
Yeah, yes, and the timing does seem right. And in fact, there's an organization called Change the Mascot on the Oneida Reservation up in central New York, 45 minutes from Syracuse, and where
Who's not they going to change?
specifically this one, what they're calling the R word.
Because they don't really have a mascot. They had a guy who is now dead within the last decade, a black gentleman who used to dress up in a headdress and whatever. Other than that, they don't have a mascot. They're talking about the logo on the helmet, yes, but they don't have a Chief Wahoo kind of figure, or the guy in Atlanta, Chief Nakahoma, who used to come out of his teepee and dance. So change the mascot, maybe change the name.org makes sense. Change the mascot is a little odd. But the Oneida, Larry, do you remember? Probably not. That in the Syracuse Quad by Hendricks Chapel, there's a statue of a Native American warrior. He is named the Saltine Warrior, for the salt flats around Syracuse. And that statue was put up by the class of 1951, of which my father was a member. My father always hated that statue. And the person who led the way to build that statue in the class of 1951 was Dick Clark.
Oh my gosh, the Dick Clark.
That was Buzzy.
Oh, Buzzy.
My dad also was on campus at the same time with Jerry Stiller, who just passed, and Al Davis.
Oh my gosh.
And Dick Chap. Well, actually, Dick Chap was at Cornell, but it was quite the time in Syracuse in the late 40s and early 50s, apparently.
That's a Hall of Fame lineup right there.
Not like Sequence 34 that you and I belong to. Speaking of which, Larry, before you go any further, I want to show our viewers.
Okay. What do we got here?
Can you
Oh my gosh.
zoom in on this classic?
Oh my.
Yes,
Yes, we
is that
can.
it?
I can see you and me and Joe Schwartz.
Tell your fans what this is.
We made a documentary together, the three of us did. And there's me in full hair and beard and everything down there. And there's David with the mic.
And I did the same now.
Joe, we do. We look quite the same, David. Yeah. Oh, what a great memory. I'm so thrilled that you heard that. So you mentioned a couple of other mascots that could be at risk as well. And you mentioned Wahoo Sam, the logo mascot
He's gone.
of Cleveland Indians. So he's gone. How long has he been gone?
Either the year or two, either last year or the year before.
Yeah.
The Braves just said they're not going to change their name, but they, a few years ago, got rid of many years ago, relatively, got rid of the guy coming out of the teepee and dancing after a home run.
Yes.
They'll do the Tomahawk Chop that they do at Florida State games, and they do at Kansas City Chiefs games. And I have not heard of any outcry over that. It's not a slur like the Redskins thing, but
Well, it's appropriation. It's cultural appropriation.
it's something. It's not pleasant, I don't think. And I haven't heard that. But anyway, back to the Saltine Warriors, Syracuse. They have this whole kind of Native American theme, and rightly so. They are very close to some Indian reservations, and a lot of the lacrosse players, not a lot, but some of the lacrosse players over the years were from there. Some of the Syracuse students are from the reservations. But of course, Syracuse went so politically correct a few years ago, they couldn't even get the orange men anymore. That has become orange. And, the mascot is this lovable piece of fluff named Otto Orange. So not as good as your Santa Cruz banana slugs, but it's up there.
Well, funny you should mention both of those mascots because my girlfriend Jen got her undergraduate at Santa Cruz. She's a banana slug, and her daughter went to Syracuse and painted a picture of Otto the Orange on her border board when she graduated.
So her daughter went to Syracuse for 4 winters, huh?
4 winters.
Yeah, I did 4 winters too, Larry. You only did 4.
Well, I was there for 3.
3 years for the post standard. I did 4 winters.
You did 4. I did 3. Yeah. Now you've got.
I vowed when I left Syracuse to never ever complain about DC summer heat. I never have. I hate winter. If I never see snow again, I love the time.
When we were in Syracuse, the minor league baseball team, the AAA, was called the Syracuse Chiefs. And they were affiliated, I believe, with the Senators at that time.
No. First of all, the Senators were long gone. The Senators won. They were the Blue Jays.
You're right. It was absolutely
Tony Fernandez. The Blue Jays are going to wear Tony Fernandez's number on their jerseys this year, their sleeves. Tony Fernandez was the Chiefs' young star shortstop from San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic. And Tony went on to become the Blue Jays record holder in this category and that category. He just died, sadly, at the age of 57. They were pretty good. They just couldn't pitch, but they had a number of guys who went on and played in the majors for quite a while. Kelly Gruber, Tony Fernandez, the relief pitcher, Tom Henke. They weren't bad. They were fun. And I don't know if you remember, but we did 3 games on TV.
Absolutely. I got to.
Diego and I were the announcers, and I had the pleasure of interviewing Mark Fidrich, former Tigers,
The Bird,
in the outfield for quite a while. The interview went on a very long time before the game, and he was pitching for the Pawtucket Red Sox. And our friend Jenny, who knew nothing about sports, was on camera. She would later go on to work at a TV station in Syracuse before leaving the business. And Mark Fidrich spit the entire interview. Jenny was just so disgusted. And then her other great moment was, I still remind her of this. So we're about to start the game. Steve Keeler, my roommate, is the director. And you hear the director in your ear when you are in a broadcast booth, whether you're doing the news in the Valley or you're doing a game or whatever it might be. And so the game's about to start, and Steve says, Jenny, get a shot of the shortstop. And Jenny says, which one's the shortstop? I'm thinking, oh, God, we're in trouble.
That's perfect. So the Syracuse Chiefs changed their name. They're now the Syracuse
Sky Chiefs.
Mets.
They were the Sky Chiefs in Texaco, and then they became the Mets, yes.
Yeah. So
Richmond, Virginia, near where Gina was, had a AAA team in the same league called the Braves, after the Atlanta Braves. They are now AA, and they are the Flying Squirrels.
Affiliated with the San Francisco Giants, the AA team.
Okay.
Giants. Yeah, the Richmond Flying Squirrels.
So the Giants, are we going to say that's unfair to talk?
We could try. I don't think it's going to get.
Do you know why the Dodgers are the Dodgers?
What do I know? Why the Dodgers are the Dodgers? From Brooklyn.
Yes.
They were the trolley.
Got it.
Oh,
Yeah, that was his-
it's the bonus round. To change teams' names, to change mascots, and so forth. Is a sea change a fad? Is it just a new way of being?
Well, the fact would be something that's going to maybe revert. I don't see how it's going to revert. I don't think they're going to go back to the Redskins and the Chief Wahoos coming back.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
But this has been going on a while, and a lot of teams have changed from Redskins on the high school level. Marquette University changed from the Warriors years ago to, what the heck are they now? Golden Eagles. There are a number of teams like that. That's why I used to write Washington Warriors to be the name, and I think that's too politically incorrect now too. So among the names I suggested, Larry, are perhaps the Washington Red Ink.
That's a good one. I like that.
A friend of mine from here just texted me with a picture of the president, and it says the Washington Orange Skins. But I dare say I hope he's gone in a few months and won't be relevant anymore.
So there is some serious stuff with changing the mascot, this movement right out of the Oneida Nation that says using that word, what they now call the R word, it can be bullying. If one adult were referred to another as an R word at work, it would be termed harassment. And if R word were to be used in the course of a crime or scrawled on someone's home, the perpetrator would be charged with a hate crime. So some pretty serious.
There's no reason it should be much different than the N-word.
Well, there you go. Exactly. Yeah.
And I said to somebody who was on the fence, I said, you know, whatever was your ethnic group, I would like to hear that reference, whatever the slur might be.
Right.
So yes, it's the right thing to do. It's overdue. And at the same time, I'm such a traditionalist that it is sort of sad, amazing. And, you know, I grew up in this town and became a huge Redskins fan the month the Senators left, which coincidentally, the Redskins started out 5-0 on the way to the playoffs for the first time in 26 years.
Listen to this.
And my dad had season tickets for a long time. And when he was in his last years in a memory care facility, one thing we could really bond over was Redskin games on Sundays. And it's, you know, yes, it's still a football team in Washington, but it's still going to be a little wistful that it's not that team anymore. Now, it helps me that my dad is gone. It helps me that I cannot stand the owner. It helps me that I'm not covering this team anymore. So last season, my first full season without my dad, I think I watched most of 2 games out of 16. So that's how little I care anymore.
Wow. That's a big change for you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I become objective years and years ago. It was my job to watch the games, not to enjoy them. So I actually truthfully root for them to go 2-14 every year. I want them to beat the Cowboys twice. I still hate the Cowboys.
Some things will never change in David Elfin.
They will not. I still love Spaniels and I hate the Cowboys.
So let's come back to dogs. David, over the years, you've been an incredible dog advocate and really promoted so much about shelters and rescues. Is there a shelter that you'd like to give a shout out to today?
Yes, and real quickly there before that, in my front window, next to my front door, I have a placard from a rally I went to that says Animal Lives Now. Gina is from the Mid-Atlantic English Springer Spaniel Rescue, MAESSR. And that is where she was adopted from. And I adopted Sparky many years ago from the Washington Humane Society, which has now become the Humane Rescue Alliance. And, yeah, I've cared about dogs ever since we got my childhood dog when I was 6, and he was a Cocker Spaniel named Checkers.
For having such a cantankerous exterior, at least when discussing sports and politics, just often when you talk about dogs.
Well, think about this. Speaking of politics, our leader was the first president in more than 100 years not to have a pet.
It's an excellent point.
I think people who don't have pets, one thing, but having no empathy for other creatures, and it's well known, I'm sure you know this, people who abuse animals become abusers of children quite often.
Yes, it's even considered a proving ground.
Cursor, right.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, you and I have both been divorced. We don't have to hide that. We've got ups and downs. And in general, I should run upstairs and get my T-shirt that says dogs are my favorite people. I think in general, dogs will give you nothing but affection. They'll never dispute you for the most part. And they are loyal, very sweet. And the only tough part about dogs is they don't live long enough.
Well said. Amen. Yeah. David, this show is also about gratitude. And is there somebody in your life or in the world who's on your mind, on your heart today?
Yeah, my mom is 87 and she's Marjorie Elfin, and she's really struggling with back issues. And we've been trying very many things, and so far nothing has really taken. I had to move in with her for a while, first part of this pandemic. She's doing better than that, but still not great. So yes, that would be the person who would come to mind right away.
Yeah, thank you. It's just, yeah, well, blessings.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Blessings to your mom.
And this has been quite the ride. As you see, people, I knew Larry K when he had lots of hair. And he was known particularly for one thing in our grad school class. And we had a very talented, somewhat diverse class. We actually, Larry may have mentioned, we had a class Zoom about a month ago. And we hadn't seen each other in 40 years, roughly.
Yes.
Larry's vision in 1982 was always access TV, which I don't know if anybody knows what that is anymore, but public access, that people were going to be able to, a democracy with a small d, anybody who had a camera could get airtime. Here we are, Facebook Live, and Larry's vision has come true. Not exactly the way he figured, but it has come true. And I wanted to cover the Washington Redskins, and it came true.
Yes. Well, thank you for seeing the arc of my professional career. And
thank you for what you have done for dogs. You are the ultimate champion.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, it has been a real wild ride career-wise as well as dog-wise. And no, I would not have predicted that I'd become the dog guy. And yet, when I did my first project on dogs, it really became evident that it was my soul. And I really thought, David, that there's got to be a way I could do more of this. I just love this dog stuff so much. Yeah, thank you for seeing that.
Great job.
Well, that was really a treat. I'm glad you got to witness. Am I muted or not?
No, you're not. I'm saying, don't you just love this dog stuff? Doesn't it just kind of choke you up a little?
It does. It really does. Yeah. And David is such a good friend, and it was actually nice to see some of the comments. A couple of our friends from those days in Syracuse Graduate School, Marcus Walsh, who is up in New Hampshire, is mentioning Joe Schwartz, who was the camera woman on that documentary where you saw me with my beard. And she is also quite a dog rescuer. And
you have not aged a day.
I have not aged a day. That's right. Yeah.
You're back out and look exactly the same, Larry.
I thank you very much. You know, from our original interview, it went on much, much longer. We talked for, I guess, close to an hour. And part of it, we talked about the musical Damn Yankees, in which the fictional character Joe Hardy makes a deal with the devil to make him young forever and be a baseball star, you know, if he'll just give up his soul, you know? So
great. I
remember
remember
I haven't made that deal with the devil.
Well, I didn't have to. I think genetics played a nice part in my aging and also stress. But I think being around dogs has really helped us. I know it's helped you. And I know it helps other people age slower. So I believe one of the secrets to anti-aging is having a pet. Oh, look, Tina. Hi.
Yeah, Tina was in our class, and she was the one who, when David talked about organizing that Zoom call, Tina was the one who organized it. We can't wait to have Tina on the show.
I love that. I cannot wait to have her on the show.
Yeah.
And you know, I loved all of David's wise words. You know, 9 lives matter, all animals' lives matter, but we're not discounting anything else out there. Everybody matters. And the fact that we would buy in to not recognizing who matters, that's on us to change, obviously, all of us. And also, most importantly, words are simply letters that are put together that we give meaning to. So what do you give meaning to? And how do you give meaning to it? And who did it for you? And have you reset your own thinking based off of what you believe in as opposed to what other people trained you to believe in?
That's really beautifully, wisely said. Thank you.
And that's
so
our
much,
challenge.
Taylor.
That's a challenge we're giving all of our viewers today, especially to pay heed to that emotional attachment that you've given to those letters put together, like Geraldine. Like, I know I have a lot of great fans. I love you. Larry has a lot of great fans. We love you together independently, but also you have to love yourself and love your own name and the letters that are put together that represent you, and put together the letters that represent other things, but emotionally attached properly. And let's all hit our reset buttons and have a different way of operating. I think it can make the whole world a better place. And also, I pay attention to how I've been trained. I love college, high school, and professional sports. I played a lot of sports on a lot of sports teams growing up, and I've trained for so many pro athletes that I've gotten a chance to understand how they operate, where they operate from, and they are not thinking racism or the R word when they go suit up for their team. They're thinking they're a part of a pack that matters and impacts something, and it's usually people themselves, but also people. So I don't think they were operating from that space at all, and I don't think a lot of people do. But I can understand where people want to make that shift. I mean,
yeah, it's when we're in the spotlight, I believe we have a responsibility, to be a light, and when we fall from that, another quote from Shakespeare. This one's from, I think, the play Julius Caesar. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves. Mm-hmm. It's an opportunity for us to really uplift others, and yeah, I really believe in that duty.
That's what we try to do here at Dog Hugs. It's not try.
Right.
We do.
Well,
we do.
Yes, let's jump right into our shelter shout outs. And I love the ones that Dave mentioned. Again, the Mid-Atlantic, easy for you to say, Mid-Atlantic English Springer Spaniel Rescue. Now, Geraldine, you know about Springers and Spaniels in general, and I don't know a lot about them.
So I try not to, once again, use the R word, but one of my favorite breeds is any Spaniel breed. Even Bichons have part Water Spaniel. A lot of people don't know this. Right. So I'm kind of prejudiced towards Spaniels. I love them. I think they're so amazing. And the reason why is they connect emotionally with humans stronger than some other breeds do. Now, I'm never going to discriminate against any breed technically because I love them all. However, I do tend to lean towards Spaniels. Now, do I have any Spaniels in my life right now? No. And I'm not even training any right now, which drives me crazy. But they're one of my favorites. So thank you, David, for that great shout out for Mid-Atlantic English Springer Spaniel Rescue.
Ooh, you said that well.
Love them.
I'm going to give my shout out to Pet Orphans again. Spider's birthday or I call it his birthday. It's his gotcha day, the day that I adopted him from Pet Orphans.
Yes.
I met him a month earlier on one of my film sets, and he was the dog who didn't get adopted. I make films with shelter dogs to help them get adopted. He's the dog who didn't get adopted, and I came back a month later and started to volunteer to walk him, and little by little, he began to open up. Instead of avoiding eye contact, he looked at me. So I taught him some hand signals. He smiled, and I decided I was up for a big challenge. I brought him home forever. Yeah. At first I couldn't touch him. Now we perform dog tricks in the waiting room of our veterinary office.
And look how much better he is. I mean, we have gone through an opening and a closing with very little bit of his input, which is what we want. We want a little. We really do. He's a part of our family. He's a part of the family. Got to keep him around.
So we're going to take actually a week off. We're doing some planning and some other projects. And so next week, we're going to show you some of our greatest Dog Hugs shows all week long. And then we'll be back the following week with some really great shows. And during that week, we'll celebrate Spider's 5th gotcha day, the day that I adopted him from the shelter.
Which is very close to Dogust, which is the international birthday for all shelter pets who do not know when their actual birthday is. Which
I
is
love that.
And there's also
it's called August.
Yes, it's called August. It's August 1st. And
Nice.
the other one for cats, since we're going to mention cats because 9 lives matter
Right.
later. So October 1st is Cattober, which is the international birthday for all adopted felines when you do not know exactly when their birthday is.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So
Hey,
yes, what an exciting grouping next week. It's our top 4 shows, and then number 1 show for the conversations from the cat box with Robbie. And I'm really excited to hear people's feedback on our top 5 shows, basically.
yes. Hey, a couple of more comments here. This is again from Tina. You never know what's inside the soul of an animal until you give them a chance to shine. And then from our good friend Steve Collier, and who's been a guest on this show, amazing trick trainer and performer near Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hi, Steve. It's great to see you, buddy. I agree with you, Larry, a lot. We need to make sure that we set an example and to use what we do to uplift as well. I think y'all do a wonderful job at that. Thank you, Steve, and right back at you, brother. Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. He said something else earlier in his earlier comments.
Oh, yeah, look at this. I wish they lived at least as long as horses did.
Thank you. That's the point that I think is really important to kind of focus on as we wrap up. I wish dogs lived as long as horses. I wish horses lived as long as people, and some do, but not quite 80 years, maybe closer to 40 something. So thank you, Steve, for mentioning that. And it's, with knowing that you are on limited time, that would be a really great way to inspire you to make every moment count and live in the now.
Ooh, beautiful. Yes.
So.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap up this run, this is like show number something like 85.
Wow.
Unbelievable. My gratitude today, Geraldine, goes to you. It's really been such a treat to uplift our audience with you. You help me keep out of my mischief and stay in the light and go for good things. And yeah, we're up here in here instead of doing the evil thing.
Exactly, the evil. And my gratitude goes to you, Larry, and everyone out there practicing patience with themselves, with their pets, with the position that we're in right now, but mostly to you. I mean, we say it every day. You are surrounded. You attract what you give, what you radiate, and boy, the pleasure of being of the recoil of those amazing things that you do. It's just so incredible. So you and I are experiencing such a great some really great moments through these shows with these amazing friends we have, customers, clients, friends, soul people, whatever we want to name them. They're so inspirational. We're so lucky. So thank you for bringing me into this mix. And I've been in about half of the shows now, and my goodness gracious, I don't want to miss a one.
Amen.
So,
well, thank you. Yeah, this is a great example where 1 + 1 = 11. And with you, the audience, that gives us a big dozen and more.
Yes, and I'm really grateful for all of all the people in our audience. Thank you for being there. Thank you for supporting what we consider to be some of the most amazing pet lovers, pet advocates, people out there trying to make a difference and bringing them to you. So, look at Sarah. Thank you, Sarah.
Animals are family.
We're all animals after all, right?
Absolutely. All right, you guys, we're going to call that a wrap. And we look forward to seeing you guys again. Thanks so much for joining us. Take
Thank
care.
you. See you soon.